The roar of the crowd was a distant hum to Moe Berg, a counterpoint to the quiet symphony of strategy playing out in his mind. He wasn't known for blazing speed or a powerful swing. His .243 batting average across his 7 seasons in professional baseball hardly screamed superstar. Yet Moe Berg was, in his own quiet way, a remarkable player. His presence on the field, however understated, was a testament to a different kind of baseball prowess, the intellectual cause. While his teammates honed their physical skills, practicing tirelessly to perfect their swings and throws, Moe dedicated his time to studying the game from a different perspective. He was a meticulous observer, studying pitching styles, analyzing defensive formations, anticipating batters' tendencies. He saw the game as a chess match, a complex strategy played out on a diamond, and he was a master strategist. His teammates often found themselves captivated by his pre-game analysis. He'd dissect opposing teams with a precision that belied his unassuming demeanor. His insights, delivered in his characteristically calm and measured tone, were surprisingly accurate. He wasn't just reciting statistics. He was identifying patterns, recognizing subtle weaknesses, and anticipating plays before they unfolded. He'd point out a pitcher's tendency to throw a curveball after a fastball, or a batter's inclination to swing at high pitches. His observations weren't always about individual players. He'd study entire teams, identifying collective weaknesses in their defense or tendencies in their batting order. His manager, often skeptical at first, came to rely on Moe's insights. He'd request Berg's assessment of opposing teams before crucial games, valuing his unique perspective and uncanny ability to predict opponents' moves. This wasn't the brash, boisterous analysis of a typical baseball strategist. Moe's was quiet, contemplative, delivered with a disarming calmness that only heightened its impact. The quiet confidence in his voice, the precise and deliberate nature of his assessment, often persuaded even the most seasoned veterans to consider his unconventional approach. In a world where brute strength and undeniable talent often took center stage, Moe's analytical intellect carved out a unique niche for itself. His relationship with his teammates was built on mutual respect, if somewhat unusual. They weren't always impressed by his batting average, but they were acutely aware of his sharp mind. He wasn't the life of the party, nor the boisterous leader. He was the thoughtful observer, the quiet strategist who possessed a deep understanding of the game that transcended simple statistics. There was a quiet camaraderie among the players, a shared respect for his intellect and analytical skills, even if those skills were expressed in a rather unconventional manner for a baseball player. He wasn't one for barroom brawls or late-night revelry. His preferred companions were books and quiet contemplation, his conversation often veering towards academic discussions of literature, history, or politics. The clubhouse, a typically boisterous environment, became a slightly more subdued place in Moe's presence. He'd often be found in a quiet corner, reading a book in a language few of his teammates could understand. Yet there was an unspoken understanding. His quiet presence wasn't seen as aloofness, but rather as an intriguing contrast to the more boisterous personalities of his fellow players. His teammates respected his intellect, recognizing the value of his insightful observations, even if they didn't always fully comprehend the depth of his knowledge or the complexity of his thinking. He was an anomaly, a scholar in cleats, and his unique blend of intellect and athleticism quietly earned him the admiration of those around him. His approach to the game wasn't solely analytical. It was also deeply observational. He wasn't just studying statistics. He was watching players, analyzing their body language, their mannerisms, the subtle tells that betrayed their intentions. He noticed the slightest hesitation in a pitcher's wind-up, the almost imperceptible shift in a batter's stance, details that most players wouldn't even register. His skills of observation, honed through years of paying meticulous attention to detail, went beyond the baseball diamond. His ability to absorb and process information was remarkable. He was a sponge, soaking up knowledge from every source he could find. He was intensely interested in other cultures, always curious to learn new languages. This wasn't just a hobby. It was a crucial aspect of his character, a driving force that propelled him to constantly expand his horizons. This thirst for knowledge extended beyond the baseball field, influencing every aspect of his life. His multilingual abilities, which would become so crucial in his later espionage career, were already evident during his baseball years. He could easily converse with players from various backgrounds, understanding their cultures and perspectives. In the world of professional baseball, where diversity was increasingly common, Moe's linguistic proficiency was a significant advantage, fostering connections and facilitating communication among players from vastly different cultural backgrounds. He wasn't just observing the game on the field. He was absorbing the social dynamics of the team, understanding the complex interplay between players and management. He was a master of subtle observation, a keen judge of character, able to discern the underlying currents of the team's dynamics with extraordinary precision. His interactions with teammates, managers, and even fans were marked by a quiet intensity, a subtle attentiveness that allowed him to quickly assess situations and people. He wasn't a flashy player. He wasn't a record breaker. He was a quiet observer, a master strategist who operated within the unspoken rules of the game. His baseball career, though modest in terms of statistics, served as a crucial training ground for the unique skills he would later bring to the world of espionage. The discipline, the attention to detail, the ability to observe, analyze, and predict, all these skills, honed on the baseball diamond, were transferred and adapted to a much larger, more consequential stage. The transition from the world of professional baseball to the covert world of espionage wasn't abrupt. It was a gradual evolution. His skills, nurtured and developed during his seemingly ordinary baseball career, were refined and honed, and eventually leveraged for a far more significant purpose. It was a transformation that happened almost imperceptibly, a quiet metamorphosis. From a quiet baseball player to an unlikely hero of World War II, the diamond, with its strategic nuances and subtle complexities, served as an unexpected and invaluable preparation for a vastly different but equally demanding challenge. The lessons learned, the skills acquired, the quiet intensity cultivated on the baseball field played a pivotal role in shaping the extraordinary life of Moe Berg, the quiet baseball star who became a silent warrior. His story highlights the extraordinary potential inherent in an understated life, a testament to the quiet heroism found in the seemingly ordinary. He was a man of contradictions, a scholar athlete, a quiet observer, a silent warrior, and his tale is a testament to the many facets of human potential, each as remarkable as the other. He was a man whose quiet strength resonated more powerfully than any boisterous display could ever manage. The year was 1934. The Great Depression still cast a long shadow across America, yet a different kind of game was afoot, a game played not on a diamond, but on a far more precarious field of international intrigue. Moe Berg having concluded, yet another season with a middling batting average and a growing sense of unease about his future, found himself unexpectedly thrust into the spotlight, though not the kind that graced the pages of the sports sections. An invitation to join a goodwill baseball tour of Japan arrived, an opportunity too intriguing to resist. It presented a chance to escape the confining limitations of his modest baseball career, to explore a world far removed from the predictable rhythms of the diamond. He accepted with a quiet determination, unaware that this seemingly innocuous trip would mark the beginning of a profound shift in his life's trajectory. Japan, in 1934, was a land of stark contrasts, ancient traditions meeting the burgeoning forces of modernization, a serene landscape juxtaposed against a rapidly militarizing Nation. The tour was a carefully orchestrated performance, a display of American amity intended to smooth over frayed diplomatic relations. Berg, with his usual quiet observation, found himself captivated by the contradictions he witnessed. He was fascinated by the intricate beauty of the temples and gardens, yet equally disturbed by the undercurrent of simmering nationalism and militaristic fervor. This duality sparked a sharp curiosity within him, pushing him beyond the casual observations. Of a tourist dot, the baseball games themselves were secondary to the intricate dance of diplomacy unfolding around him. The meticulously planned itinerary allowed for carefully scheduled sightseeing excursions, offering Berg the chance to observe the nation's military infrastructure with a keen and discerning eye. He wasn't merely taking in the sights. He was meticulously cataloging information, noting the locations of key military installations, the positioning of artillery batteries, the layout of naval bases. His mind, trained by years of strategic analysis on the baseball field, quickly became adept at identifying patterns, discerning potential vulnerabilities. This wasn't a spontaneous impulse, a casual act of sightseeing. It was a carefully crafted plan, meticulously formulated in advance, drawing upon his already honed skills of observation. The seed of espionage had been planted long before, nurtured by his insatiable curiosity and his profound understanding of the power of observation. He carried a small, inconspicuous camera, a silent witness to the military might of Japan. He wasn't overtly conspicuous, his movements disguised as those of a curious tourist, his actions blending seamlessly into the backdrop of the goodwill tour. Yet beneath the veneer of an ordinary baseball player lay a spy in the making. Risks were significant. Discovery could have meant far more than a simple expulsion from the country. He could have faced imprisonment, perhaps even worse. But the potential payoff was equally compelling. The information he was gathering was valuable, potentially crucial, and this awareness fueled his actions. He wasn't motivated by greed or glory. His motivations were far more complex and deeply personal. There was a sense of patriotism, an underlying duty to his country, but there was also a thrill of adventure, a unique satisfaction derived from via. Operating outside of conventional bounds, his photographic endeavor was a delicate dance on the edge of legality and outright illegality. He understood the implications of his actions, the potential consequences of getting caught. He meticulously planned each photo opportunity, choosing moments when he could capture the desired images without drawing undue attention. He'd blend into the crowds, taking snapshots seemingly without a second thought. His calm demeanor, practiced through years of playing under pressure on the baseball field, was now his greatest ally. He moved with an almost imperceptible grace, capturing images that would later become essential intelligence. He wasn't operating in a vacuum. He had contacts, individuals who facilitated the covert aspects of his mission. These weren't boisterous accomplices, but rather quiet, discreet individuals who understood the delicate nature of their task and the significant risks involved. The network of support he relied upon was a testament to his ability to build trust and maintain confidentiality, essential skills that were as much a part of his repertoire as his linguistic talents. The clandestine nature of his work was a stark contrast to the openness of his baseball career. He had seamlessly transitioned from the public glare of the baseball diamond to the clandestine world of espionage. His days were now a strange blend of sunshine and shadows. He was a professional baseball player by day, a secret agent by night. His two lives separated by a carefully constructed wall of secrecy. The task was fraught with complexities beyond the simple act of taking photographs. He needed to identify individuals capable of securely transporting the film back to America, ensuring its safe delivery to the right hands. He had to navigate a system of subtle codes and secret rendezvous, trusting his instincts, relying on his ability to discern the genuine from the disingenuous. He used his linguistic skills to gather additional information, to ascertain the perspectives of various individuals, to understand the subtle nuances of conversations unfolding around him. Night after night, he'd meticulously develop his photographs, his small hotel room becoming a clandestine darkroom. Each image was more than just a picture. It was a piece of intelligence, a fragment of a larger puzzle. He spent hours painstakingly recording his observations, detailing the locations, the equipment, and any other information he could glean. He knew the importance of meticulous record-keeping. The accuracy and precision of his work were paramount. His meticulous work in Japan wasn't just about taking photographs. It was about strategic observation, about discerning patterns and identifying potential weaknesses. It was about understanding the capabilities of the Japanese military, about predicting their strategies and anticipating their actions. His years of experience on the baseball field, the ability to observe, to analyze, to anticipate, proved to be invaluable. He was applying his skills in a far more significant context, translating them from the world of sports to the arena of international espionage. His return to America was unmarked, his passage unremarkable. He blended back into his ordinary life, the photos securely delivered, the information passed on. His participation in this early stage of espionage, however, had irreversibly changed his trajectory. The Princeton prodigy, the quiet observer, the unassuming baseball player, had become something more, a shadowy figure operating on the fringes of the world's greatest conflicts. He'd proven he could function effectively in the world of covert operations, his intelligence and skills perfectly suited to this new and dangerous game. This quiet mission, conducted beneath the surface of a seemingly ordinary goodwill tour, marked the true beginning of Moe Berg's transformation into an unlikely spymaster. The seeds of espionage had been sown, and they were ready to germinate. The baseball diamond had provided the training ground. Japan offered the crucible where his true talents would be fully revealed. The quiet hero was emerging. The success of his clandestine photographic mission in Japan didn't go unnoticed. Whispers of his keen observation and linguistic prowess reached the ears of the newly formed Office of Strategic Services, OSS, a clandestine intelligence agency, tasked with gathering information behind enemy lines. The OSS, a melting pot of academics, adventurers, and multilingual scholars, needed individuals with unique skill sets, individuals who could blend into diverse cultures and operate undetected. Moe Berg, with his linguistic abilities, his calm demeanor, and his proven ability to gather intelligence discreetly, fit the profile perfectly. His recruitment wasn't a flamboyant affair. There were no dramatic pronouncements, no whispered promises of untold riches. Instead, it was a series of discreet meetings, veiled conversations, and carefully worded inquiries. A contact, an individual he'd met through academic circles, subtly broached the subject, gauging his interest, testing his discretion. The initial conversations were carefully calibrated, feeling out Berg's temperament, assessing his willingness to operate outside the confines of conventional society. The discussions focused on his experiences in Japan, subtly leading him to reveal the depth of his observations, the meticulous nature of his photographic endeavor. The evaluation process was rigorous. It wasn't simply a matter of assessing his linguistic proficiency. It delved deeper into his psychological makeup, probing his ability to think on his feet, to remain calm under pressure, to maintain a composed exterior while operating in environments fraught with danger. The all psychologists subjected him to a series of tests designed to identify his strengths and weaknesses, to uncover potential vulnerabilities that could be exploited by enemy agents. These were not simple IQ tests. They were designed to gauge his capacity for deception, his ability to maintain secrecy, his resilience in the face of extreme adversity, The physical demands of the role were just as rigorous. While his athletic prowess on the baseball field wasn't the primary focus, physical fitness was considered paramount. The job often demanded long hours of travel, frequently in uncomfortable and dangerous conditions. The ability to endure physical hardship was crucial for survival, both in terms of sustaining oneself and evading capture. He underwent a grueling physical training regimen designed to test his stamina, endurance, and overall physical capabilities. The training itself was a stark departure from his life on the baseball field. It was a world of shadows and secrecy, a crucible where he would be forged into a clandestine agent. It wasn't simply a matter of learning hand-to-hand combat or weapons training. It was about developing a mindset, a particular way of observing, analyzing, and reacting. It involved mastering the art of disguise, seamlessly blending into different social environments, operating undetected while gathering sensitive information. Linguistic skills were meticulously honed. He received advanced training in cryptography, learning to encode and decode secret messages, mastering the intricate art of clandestine communication. He spent hours studying the nuances of languages, particularly those spoken in the regions where he might be deployed, focusing on dialects and accents to ensure complete immersion. His multilingual abilities were not merely for understanding conversations. They were for forging connections, building trust, and ultimately, operating undetected. The OSS training emphasized the importance of observation, the ability to discern seemingly insignificant details that could hold crucial pieces of information. The instructors pushed Berg to his limits, testing his ability to retain information, to make quick assessments, to discern genuine responses from deceptive ones. He learned to read body language, to understand the subtle shifts in human demeanor that could reveal hidden intentions. The training wasn't just about technical skills. It was about mastering the psychological aspects of espionage. The instructors sought to cultivate a sense of detachment, a capacity to remain composed under immense pressure. They trained him to control his emotions, to maintain a clear head. In life-threatening situations, to think rationally even when faced with immediate danger. They fostered a mindset of unwavering discipline, a steadfast commitment to completing the mission, regardless of the obstacles. The sense of urgency permeated every aspect of the training. World War II cast a long shadow, its specter looming, large over every exercise, every drill. The lives of countless individuals hung in the balance, and the information gathered by the OSS could quite literally be a matter of life and death. This awareness fueled the intensity of the training, driving Berg to push his physical and mental boundaries. He was not simply learning a new skill set. He was preparing to confront the realities of a global conflict, a conflict that demanded the utmost dedication, the ultimate sacrifice. The training program wasn't static. It adapted to Berg's unique skills and aptitudes. While he excelled in linguistic and observational exercises, his physical training focused on strengthening his ability to withstand fatigue and stress. He wasn't expected to be a super soldier, but he needed to be resilient, capable of withstanding physical duress while maintaining his mental acuity. The instructors recognized his quiet demeanor, his capacity for observation, and his ability to remain composed under pressure as invaluable assets. These weren't merely personality traits. They were crucial components of his spycraft. They instilled a sense of adaptability, teaching him to function effectively in diverse environments, operating under the radar, remaining undetected, and blending into the cultural tapestry of different societies. The atmosphere of the training was marked by a deep sense of secrecy and camaraderie. The agents in training were a diverse group, individuals from various backgrounds, united by a shared purpose and a profound commitment to the war effort. They were bound by a common goal and a culture of mutual trust and respect. They learned to rely on one another, to anticipate each other's actions, and to operate as a unified entity. The camaraderie forged in the crucible of this rigorous training would become a cornerstone of their future missions. As the training progressed, Berg underwent a transformation. The quiet, unassuming baseball player slowly shed his previous persona, emerging as a skilled and disciplined spy. The skills he developed on the baseball field, observation, strategic thinking, and the ability to perform under pressure, were now honed and sharpened, complemented by his linguistic talents and his innate capacity for deception. His experiences in Japan had paved the way, but the OSS training had refined and perfected his abilities, transforming him into a valuable asset in the covert war against the Axis powers. He was prepared, both mentally and physically, for the dangerous missions that lay ahead. The transition from baseball player to spy was complete. His quiet heroism was about to take center stage on a much grander scale. The world stage awaited. The sun beat down on the dusty roads of southern Italy, the air thick with the scent of olive groves and the distant rumble of artillery fire. For Moe Berg, the landscape was both beautiful and treacherous, a picturesque backdrop to a deadly game of cat and mouse. His mission, to infiltrate the Italian fascist network operating in the region, gathering intelligence on troop movements, supply lines, and potential Axis collaboration. He wasn't a soldier, not in the traditional sense. He was a shadow, a whisper in the wind, his presence detected only by those he chose to reveal himself to. His arrival in Italy was far from glamorous. He wasn't parachuted into a clandestine rendezvous, nor did he arrive via a daring seaborne infiltration. Instead, he traveled under the guise of a civilian, his OSS credentials concealed beneath the veneer of a neutral observer, a detached academic, perhaps, or a curious journalist. The careful construction of his cover was paramount. It was the cornerstone of his operations, a shield against suspicion and detection. He moved from town to town, his movements carefully planned, his encounters meticulously orchestrated. His contacts, a network of carefully vetted individuals, were scattered across the region, each a vital link in the chain of intelligence gathering. The meetings themselves were fraught with tension. They were held in dimly lit cafes, in secluded corners of ancient churches, in the hushed privacy of private residences. The air crackled with unspoken anxieties. A misplaced glance, a wrong word, could mean exposure, capture, even death. He learned to trust his instincts, to read between the lines, to discern truth from deception. His mastery of Italian, honed through years of study, was essential, not just for understanding what was said, but for sensing the unspoken nuances, the subtle inflections that could betray a hidden agenda. One such meeting stands out in particular. It took place in a small coastal village, nestled amongst the rugged cliffs overlooking the Tyrrhenian Sea. His contact, a former Italian army officer disillusioned by the fascist regime, was waiting in a tiny trattoria, the aroma of freshly brewed espresso mingling with the salty tang of the sea air. The conversation was cautious, punctuated by long silences, broken only by the clinking of glasses and the muffled sounds of the village life beyond. The officer, his face etched, with lines of worry and fatigue, spoke in hushed tones, conveying information gleaned from his former contacts within the fascist ranks. The details he revealed were crucial: the location of a significant arms depot, the planned deployment of troops, the secret movement of supplies along a previously undetected route. Berg listened intently, his eyes absorbing the details, his memory recording every word, every gesture. The risks were ever present, a constant, suffocating pressure. The pervasive presence of the fascist police, their watchful eyes ever alert for signs of dissent, added to the sense of urgency. Berg moved through the war-torn landscape like a ghost, his presence as fleeting as the shadows. He learned to blend into the background, to become an unnoticed observer, his very ordinariness a disguise in itself. Beyond the clandestine meetings, Berg's missions extended to gathering information from seemingly mundane sources. He'd frequent local markets, eavesdrop on conversations, and subtly observe the interactions between civilians and soldiers. He learned to distinguish between the genuine concerns of ordinary citizens and the thinly veiled propaganda disseminated by the fascist regime. His sharp eye for detail, honed by years of playing professional baseball, helped him decipher the unspoken narratives of everyday life. He made a point of immersing himself in the lives of ordinary Italians, understanding their fears, their resilience in the face of hardship. The war had wrought havoc on their lives, yet they carried on, their spirit unbroken. The women toiled tirelessly, their faces etched with worry and determination. The men, weary and worn, bore the weight of uncertainty. Berg saw the war not just through the lens of intelligence gathering, but as a human tragedy, a profound disruption of everyday life. His calm demeanor, often mistaken for apathy, was actually a carefully cultivated shield. It allowed him to remain focused under pressure, to assess situations clearly, and to react decisively when necessary. On more than one occasion, he found himself in close proximity to fascist patrols, the tension palpable. He'd calmly continue, his activities appearing oblivious to their presence, never betraying a hint of fear or suspicion. His ability to remain unfazed, to project an air of unassuming normalcy, was a critical element of his success. He often used his linguistic skills to gain access to information that would otherwise be unavailable. His fluency in Italian, coupled with his ability to quickly grasp regional dialects, allowed him to effortlessly blend into local communities, gaining the trust of those who might otherwise be suspicious. He could switch between formal and informal registers with remarkable ease, understanding the subtle nuances of language that could determine the success or failure of an operation. His missions were not without near misses. One night, as he was leaving a clandestine meeting, he was nearly apprehended by a fascist patrol. He managed to slip away unnoticed, but the experience left him shaken, the adrenaline still coursing through his veins long after the danger had passed. The constant threat of discovery became a tangible presence, a reminder of the precarious balance between success and failure. The intelligence he gathered during his Italian missions proved invaluable to the Allied war effort. His reports detailed troop movements, supply lines, and access plans, significantly impacting military strategy. The information he provided helped shape the course of the war, contributing to the Allied victory in Italy. His contributions, though, often hidden from public view, played a critical role in the liberation of the Italian peninsula. His work in Italy wasn't just about gathering intelligence. It was about building relationships, forging connections, and understanding the human cost of war. He observed, he listened, he learned, and he meticulously documented his findings, transforming raw observations into actionable intelligence. His time in Italy wasn't merely a collection of clandestine meetings and daring escapes. It was a deep immersion into a world transformed by war, a world of profound contrasts and hidden tensions. He witnessed the brutality of conflict, resilience of the human spirit, and the insidious nature of totalitarian rule. His experiences left an indelible mark on him, shaping his worldview and informing his understanding of the complexities of international relations. His Italian sojourn was only a chapter in his larger espionage career. However, it serves as a powerful testament to his courage, his ingenuity, and his unwavering commitment to the Allied cause. The sun-drenched landscapes of Italy became the stage for a quiet, often unseen battle, one fought not with bullets and bombs, but with keen observation, linguistic skill, and the cool precision of a master spy. His mission in Italy was a resounding success, a triumph of human intellect and determination against the backdrop of a world engulfed in war. The story of Moe Berg's missions in Italy is a reminder that even in the darkest hours, the quiet, heroes can make the biggest difference. His legacy would continue to unfold, his unique skills tested once again on a much grander stage. The Swiss Alps, a breathtaking panorama of snow-capped peaks and verdant valleys, offered a deceptive tranquility. It was a stark contrast to the brutal realities of the war raging across Europe, a neutrality that masked a complex web of intrigue and espionage. For Moe Berg, Switzerland wasn't just a picturesque backdrop. It was a crucial staging ground, a neutral territory where the lines between friend and foe blurred, where information flowed like a subterranean river, and where the slightest misstep could have fatal consequences. His arrival in Switzerland was carefully orchestrated, a delicate ballet of deception and discretion. He posed as a freelance journalist, a curious observer of the Swiss political scene, his movements seemingly innocuous, his intentions hidden beneath a veneer of scholarly detachment. He frequented the grand hotels of Zurich and Geneva places, where spies and diplomats mingled openly, where conversations crackled with coded messages, and where the air buzzed with the unspoken anxieties of wartime. The challenges in Switzerland were different from those he faced in Italy. In Italy, the danger was overt, the threat of capture a constant, palpable presence. In Switzerland, the danger was more subtle, more insidious. It was the ever-present risk of exposure, the danger of being identified as a spy in a nation fiercely, proud of its neutrality. The stakes were incredibly high. A single indiscretion could jeopardize not only his mission, but the delicate balance of Swiss neutrality itself. He cultivated a network of contacts, a clandestine fraternity of informants and collaborators, each carefully vetted, each playing a crucial role in his intelligence-gathering operation. These contacts were a diverse lot: academics, journalists, businessmen, even disillusioned members of the Axis diplomatic corps. Each had their own motivations, their own agendas, but all shared a common interest: the clandestine dissemination of information. His interactions with these contacts were a delicate dance, a careful negotiation of trust and discretion. Meetings were held in discreet locations, quiet cafes, secluded libraries, even private apartments. Conversations were measured, cautious, punctuated by long silences and coded language. He learned to read between the lines, to discern truth from deception, to interpret the unspoken nuances of body language and tone. One such meeting stands out in his memory. It took place in a dimly lit library in Bern, a city steeped in history and political intrigue. His contact, a Swiss banker with close ties to the German embassy, was nervous, his hands constantly fidgeting, his eyes darting around the room. The information he provided was vital. Details about a secret Axis meeting in a nearby town, a clandestine rendezvous where high-ranking officials were planning a crucial military operation. Berg listened intently, making mental notes meticulously, recording the details without betraying any emotion. The information he gathered in Switzerland was of immense strategic value. It wasn't always dramatic. It was often the seemingly mundane details, the subtle shifts in political alliances, the overheard conversations in hotel lobbies, the seemingly unimportant snippets of information that painted a larger picture. He pieced together fragments of intelligence like a master puzzle solver, weaving together a coherent narrative of Axis intentions. His days were often filled with seemingly innocuous activities: attending lectures, visiting museums, exploring the Swiss countryside. These were more than just distractions. They were carefully planned excursions designed to conceal his true purpose, to provide opportunities for observation and casual encounters. He meticulously observed the social dynamics of Swiss society, paying close attention to subtle shifts in political opinion, identifying individuals with possible connections to Axis intelligence agencies. Nights were a different matter. His evenings were spent poring over maps, analyzing reports, and deciphering coded messages. The pressure was intense. He bore the weight of responsibility for the success of his mission, knowing that a single mistake could have grave consequences. The quietude of his hotel room was often broken only by the rhythmic tap-tap of his typewriter. As he composed his meticulous reports, he also utilized his linguistic skills to their fullest extent. While his mastery of Italian had been vital in his Italian missions, in Switzerland, his fluency in German and French proved invaluable. He effortlessly switched between languages, seamlessly navigating the complex linguistic landscape, gaining the trust and cooperation of informants from different linguistic backgrounds. He could move from fluent German in a conversation with a Swiss banker to impeccable French in a discussion with a French-speaking diplomat, all the while maintaining his neutral persona. The neutrality of Switzerland was a double-edged sword. It offered a veil of secrecy, a haven for clandestine operations, but it also imposed severe limitations. He had to constantly walk a tightrope, balancing the need to gather intelligence with the imperative to maintain his cover and avoid suspicion. A single misstep could expose him, not just to the Axis powers, but to the Swiss authorities, who were fiercely protective of their neutrality and quick to crack down on any perceived breach of national security. The constant tension was a palpable thing, a weight that bore down on him. He became a master of subtle observation, his eyes constantly scanning his surroundings, his ears alert to any unusual sounds or conversations. He had to learn to interpret the unspoken cues, the subtle body language and facial expressions, to detect hidden anxieties and underlying intentions. One of the most tense moments occurred during a seemingly casual encounter in a Zurich cafe. He was seated near a group of German diplomats, their conversation laced with coded phrases and oblique references to military strategy. He managed to remain unnoticed, his composure unshaken, calmly sipping his coffee while discreetly memorizing crucial details. The risk of discovery was ever present, yet he remained composed, his cool demeanor a testament to his exceptional training and nerve. His time in Switzerland was a masterclass in espionage, a testament to his meticulous planning, his unwavering discipline, and his exceptional ability to navigate complex political landscapes. He collected fragments of information, meticulously piecing them together like a mosaic, creating a comprehensive picture of Axis activities. The intelligence he gathered played a critical role in Allied war planning, his contributions often unseen but always invaluable. He seamlessly blended into the landscape of neutral Switzerland, using its seemingly placid environment to gain vital intelligence. And in doing so, he emerged as a testament to the quiet efficiency and deadly precision of a master spy. His work in Switzerland was far from glamorous, but it was vitally important. It wasn't filled with thrilling escapes and firefights. It was a protracted game of cat and mouse, a subtle dance of deception and discretion, where the greatest threat wasn't a gunfight, but exposure, the greatest triumph, not a dramatic arrest, but the quiet accumulation of crucial intelligence. The mountains of Switzerland, the neutral cities, the calm demeanor of its populace were a deceptive facade. Beneath the surface swirled the currents of espionage, a dangerous game played. In the shadows, with Moe Berg as its quiet yet formidable master. His mission in Switzerland concluded with quiet satisfaction and almost imperceptible success, proved to be another critical step in his clandestine war against the Axis. His quiet heroism, his ability to function with almost invisible precision, solidified his legacy not only as a skilled operative, but as a man of profound intellect and remarkable calm under pressure. The world was far from peaceful, yet Moe Berg found a way to operate with grace, intelligence, and effectiveness in some of the most dangerous places on Earth. **. The crisp alpine air gave way to the damp chill of Eastern Europe. The transition was jarring, a shift from the carefully orchestrated neutrality of Switzerland to the raw, unpredictable energy of a continent consumed by war. Moe Berg, accustomed to the subtle dance of espionage in the shadow of the Alps, now found himself navigating a vastly different landscape, one steeped in ancient grudges, simmering resentments, and the ever-present threat of violence. His mission was far more complex than simply gathering intelligence. It was about understanding the nuanced tapestry of Eastern European societies, a mosaic of cultures and ideologies, each with its own unique set of challenges and opportunities. His first stop was Bucharest, the capital of Romania, a city teeming with a heady mix of opulence and desperation. The city's grand boulevards, lined with elegant buildings, were a stark contrast to the poverty-stricken alleyways where desperation gnawed at the edges of society. Berg, fluent in several languages, including Romanian, seamlessly blended into the city's complex social fabric. He moved with an almost invisible grace, his observations meticulously detailed, his interactions perfectly calibrated. He frequented cafes, frequented bookstores, and even attended opera performances, gathering information from chance conversations, overheard snippets of dialogue, and the subtle cues of body language. He was a chameleon, adapting to the local environment with an ease born of years of practice and innate observational skills. His primary contact, a Romanian journalist with connections to the underground resistance, proved to be both invaluable and elusive. Their meetings were carefully choreographed, each rendezvous a delicate negotiation of trust and discretion. The journalist, whose name Berg never knew, provided him with crucial insights into the Romanian political scene, revealing the growing discontent among the population and the clandestine efforts of the resistance to undermine the Axis occupation. The information Berg gathered in Bucharest was multifaceted, ranging from the mundane, the number of Axis troops stationed in the city and the state of their supplies, to the strategic, the level of collaboration between the Romanian government and the Axis powers. He meticulously documented everything, leaving no detail overlooked. His reports were models of clarity and precision, distilling a mass of raw data into concise, actionable intelligence. He used his linguistic skills to the fullest, effortlessly navigating the complex political landscape and using his language skills to decipher the veiled conversations between different social groups and government officials. From Bucharest, his journey took him to Budapest, a city already scarred by war. Here, the stakes were even higher, the risks more pronounced. Budapest, a city steeped in history and culture, was now a battlefield, a place where the shadows of espionage stretched long and dark. His primary mission was to establish contact with members of the Hungarian resistance, a task made more difficult by the ever-present threat of discovery. The city was teeming with Axis officials, and any misstep could prove fatal. He moved with caution, his movements carefully planned, his conversations measured and controlled. He was a ghost in the city. His presence felt only in the carefully chosen words and subtle actions. His contacts were less frequent here than in Bucharest, each encounter a high-stakes gamble. His contacts here were mostly those who could help him acquire or decrypt sensitive information, and his time here was often spent sifting through massive amounts of data looking for patterns and clues. His stay in Budapest was a testament to his ability to navigate complex social environments. He mastered the art of building trust and rapport, even with those he barely knew. His language skills were again crucial, allowing him to communicate effectively with people from diverse backgrounds and social strata. He was able to gain their trust through his genuine interest in their lives and their culture, and by demonstrating his respect for their language and customs. His next destination was Sofia, Bulgaria. While officially allied with the Axis powers, Bulgaria was rife with dissent, with the resistance quietly operating in the shadows. Berg's mission here was to assess the extent of this resistance, identifying potential allies, engaging the feasibility of providing support. Sofia presented a unique challenge. It demanded a different set of skills. The situation in Bulgaria was more volatile, its political landscape shifting almost daily. It required a delicate touch. A wrong step could trigger a disastrous chain of events. His contacts were sparse, his meetings clandestine, and the risk of detection always present. Yet he worked tirelessly, carefully collecting data, weaving together the pieces of a complex puzzle. He gathered crucial information about Bulgarian military deployments, the level of support for the Axis powers, and the activities of the resistance movement. He found himself working with individuals who seemed to operate from completely different viewpoints. Through these missions, Berg found himself constantly adjusting his approach. In Bucharest, he operated within a more established network of resistance contacts. In Budapest, the contacts were more scarce and the operations more clandestine. In Sofia, the political situation was more volatile, demanding a higher degree of caution and discretion. His success lay in his ability to adapt, to tailor his methods to the specific challenges of each environment. He didn't just gather intelligence. He absorbed the essence of each culture, understanding the local nuances, the unspoken rules, the subtle cues that revealed hidden truths. His ability to blend into different social settings, to build rapport with individuals from diverse backgrounds, was instrumental to his success. His Eastern European missions were a masterclass in human intelligence, a demonstration of his linguistic skills, his cultural sensitivity, and his ability to navigate the treacherous world of espionage with grace, precision, and unwavering courage. The information he gathered was invaluable, providing the Allies with critical insights into Axis capabilities and intentions. His work in Eastern Europe, though often dangerous and demanding, was pivotal to the overall war effort, adding another layer of complexity to his already remarkable career as a spy. His ability to make crucial connections and his innate understanding of social dynamics allowed him to navigate the complex world of Eastern European politics and resistance movements with skill and finesse, leaving an indelible mark on the course of the war. His post-war life would find him far from the fanfare of heroism, but those Eastern European encounters would remain a cornerstone of his legacy, a testament to his unparalleled skills and courage in the heart of a continent embroiled in conflict. The train rattled through the Swiss countryside, a rhythmic counterpoint to the turmoil in Moe Berg's mind. He stared out the window, the picturesque landscape a stark contrast to the grim mission ahead. He was headed to Farm Hall, a seemingly innocuous country house near Cambridge, England, but the reality was far more sinister. His assignment, to observe Werner Heisenberg, the brilliant German physicist widely considered the architect of the Nazi atomic bomb program. The official instructions were simple: assess Heisenberg's progress. The unspoken, far more perilous. Order hung heavy in the air. Eliminate him if the threat was deemed imminent. The weight of this responsibility pressed down on Berg. He wasn't a soldier, not in the traditional sense. His weapon wasn't a rifle, but his intellect, his charm, his ability to blend seamlessly into any environment. But this mission demanded a different kind of weapon, a different kind of resolve. The thought of taking a human life, even one associated with the enemy, filled him with a profound sense of unease. He was accustomed to gathering intelligence, to manipulating situations, but assassination? It felt alien, a violation of his own personal code. Yet the stakes were impossibly high. The possibility of Nazi Germany possessing an atomic bomb was a chilling prospect, a threat that could redraw the map of the world and condemn millions to unimaginable suffering. His previous missions, while dangerous, had been focused on gathering information, on thwarting the enemy's plans. This was different. This was about preventing a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. He was caught in a moral labyrinth, torn between his duty to his country and his personal sense of morality. He spent the train journey reviewing his intel, sifting through the fragmented information he'd painstakingly assembled over weeks. Reports from informants, intercepted communications, scientific papers, all pointed towards the possibility of a German atomic bomb, but the exact level of their progress remained shrouded in mystery. Heisenberg's lectures were closely guarded. The scientist was a master of obfuscation, his speeches carefully crafted to conceal more than they revealed. Berg's mission required him to be more than a spy. He needed to be a scientist, a judge, an executioner. All rolled into one Farm Hall was a deceptively ordinary house, nestled amongst rolling hills and ancient trees. It was here that several prominent German scientists, including Heisenberg, were being held under Allied supervision. The atmosphere was tense, a delicate balance of surveillance and enforced casualness. Berg was introduced as a neutral observer, a linguist tasked with translating conversations. The pretense was thin, yet it was the only way to gain access to the group. The days unfolded in a blur of observation and quiet reflection. Heisenberg, a man of both brilliance and arrogance, captivated his audience with his lectures and conversations. Berg, however, paid close attention not to the words themselves, but to the subtext, the silences, the fleeting expressions on the faces of the scientists. He watched for any signs of breakthrough, of suppressed excitement, of the subtle cues that might betray the level of their nuclear progress. His expertise in languages was not limited to translating spoken words. He also deciphered the body, language and social dynamics within the group, understanding the power dynamics and the unspoken alliances. The intellectual sparring between the scientists was as intense as any battlefield Berg had ever witnessed. The arguments, the subtle disagreements, the carefully worded statements, it was all part of a complex chess game, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. Berg meticulously documented every observation, every interaction, every flicker of emotion. His reports were not just summaries of scientific discussions. They were psychological profiles, nuanced insights into the minds of some of the world's most brilliant and potentially most dangerous men. Heisenberg's demeanor was a riddle wrapped in an enigma. He was arrogant, yet cautious, brilliant, yet seemingly unaware of the devastating potential of his own work. He sometimes spoke with a detached air, as if considering the implications of the atom bomb a purely academic matter. Other times, his pronouncements were fraught with unspoken anxieties, hints of concern about his place in the post-war world, and perhaps about the potential consequences of his contribution to the war effort. Berg observed his interactions with the other scientists, their subtle exchanges, their hushed whispers. He listened to conversations that, on the surface, seemed purely scientific, but seemed to hint at a deeper meaning, and to discussions that had the potential to offer an insight into whether their progress had been truly significant. Weeks turned into months. Berg continued his observations, his initial apprehensions slowly giving way to a different kind of anxiety. The more he learned, the more uncertain he became about his orders. The German atomic bomb program, while advanced, was not as far along as originally feared. Heisenberg's speeches were, indeed, filled with carefully designed pronouncements to obscure the true state of their research from the Allies. But his gestures and his subtle changes in demeanor spoke otherwise. Heisenberg's own uncertainty, his wavering confidence, suggested that the project faced significant challenges, perhaps insurmountable ones, given the resources and time constraints at their disposal. The possibility that Germany could produce a functional weapon in the time remaining was dwindling. The clear indication was that Heisenberg himself was not entirely certain that it would be possible. The moral dilemma intensified. Should he follow his orders, assassinating a brilliant scientist who, while working for a genocidal regime, was clearly not on the verge of providing a weapon that could end the war? Berg felt a growing sense of unease. The death of Heisenberg would not guarantee the elimination of the atomic threat. It was a brutal measure, one that felt both excessive and ineffective. His work was far less than certain, and the elimination of the man would not guarantee any advantage for the Allies. The decision weighed heavily on him. He spent sleepless nights wrestling with his conscience, weighing the potential consequences of his actions. In the end, he decided against the assassination. He couldn't justify taking a human life based on incomplete information. He felt that eliminating Heisenberg would be an act of violence that might serve to further endanger the lives of others, and that the potential outcome was highly uncertain at best. The information that he had painstakingly assembled during his time at Farm Hall was far more important than any rash decision made on incomplete information. He submitted his report, meticulously documenting his observations, but omitting any mention of his orders to assassinate Heisenberg. His assessment was clear. While the German atomic bomb program presented a potential threat, it was not imminent, and therefore eliminating Heisenberg would be an unnecessary and potentially counterproductive act. He chose to rely on his judgment, on his capacity to assess risk, on his understanding that the weight of his actions extended far beyond the immediate consequences. His decision was a testament to his integrity and his personal morality, a reflection of his belief that even in the midst of war, certain lines could not be crossed. His quiet act of defiance became a powerful statement about the human cost of war and the importance of careful consideration. His mission to Farm Hall was over, but his moral conflict was far from resolved. The question of whether he made the right decision would continue to haunt him long after the war's end. His decision was etched into his life, a reminder of the profound responsibility that came with wielding power, even the power of life and death. Asterisk. The steamship sliced through the Atlantic, each churning wave a reminder of the turbulent seas of his wartime experiences. Moe Berg leaned against the railing, a salt spray misting his face, a stark contrast to the crisp English air he'd recently left behind. America loomed on the horizon, a land of promise and yet a land that felt both familiar and alien. The war was over, the immediate threat neutralized, but the echoes of his missions, the weight of his choices, continued to resonate within him. He had spent months at Farm Hall, a gilded cage for some of Germany's most brilliant minds. The experience had been both intellectually stimulating and emotionally draining. The constant surveillance, the pretense of normalcy, the subtle power, dynamics between the captive scientists, it all created a pressure cooker of tension. He'd observed, analyzed, and reported, his meticulous notes a testament to his skills of observation and analysis. But the weight of his potential role as an assassin, the unspoken order hanging over his head, was an invisible burden he carried. With him, he'd chosen not to act, a decision that had relieved him at the time, but now the question of its correctness gnawed at him. Had he made the right choice? Would history judge him kindly? Or would his inaction lead to some future catastrophe that could have been prevented? The voyage back provided a strange kind of reflection. The vastness of the ocean mirrored the vastness of his own internal landscape. He was a different man than the one who had boarded that train to Farm Hall. The war had stripped away layers of his personality, revealing a core of quiet resilience and a profound understanding of the human capacity for both good and evil. The clandestine world of espionage, with its shadows and secrets, had left its mark, etching a permanent line between his past and his future. Stepping onto American soil felt strangely unreal. The vibrant energy of the port, the bustling crowds, a cacophony of sounds, all seemed to fade into a muted backdrop. He was a ghost in his own life, a specter returning from a world that few understood. The bustling streets of New York City, once familiar and welcoming, now held a subtle undercurrent of disorientation. The war had changed the world, and it had irrevocably altered him. His apartment, with its worn books and faded photographs, was a haven and a prison. The familiar objects held little comfort. His baseball memorabilia lay untouched in their glass cases, relics from a simpler, less complicated life. The books that held the stories of his academic journey, the intellectual stimulation of his studies, and the complexities of his linguistic skills felt alien and foreign to the reality he inhabited. He had walked through the halls of academia, the world of baseball, and the clandestine world of wartime espionage, each one seemingly a universe apart. He had traded these seemingly disparate experiences for the realities of a life, shrouded in secrecy and a burden of responsibility that he bore alone. His friends, family, and former colleagues greeted him with a mixture of relief and awkwardness. The war had created a chasm between him and his past life, a gap that couldn't be easily bridged. They couldn't fathom his experiences, the moral dilemmas he'd faced, or the profound shift in his personality. Their attempts at normalcy felt hollow, failing to penetrate the shroud of silence that shrouded him. He felt a deep disconnect, a growing sense of isolation from those who loved him and who knew him best. They had lived through different worlds. He tried to resume his old life, but the transition was more difficult than he had anticipated. The quiet, contemplative nature that characterized him now served him well in his solitude, but it was a poor fit for the bustling world of post-war America. He found himself increasingly detached from everyday conversations, his mind often wandering back to Farm Hall, to the faces of the scientists, to the weight of his decisions, the anonymity that he craved, the normalcy that he felt he needed, proved to be a double-edged sword. The subtle shift in his personality made him seem distant, aloof, even enigmatic. While he avoided the spotlight, he could not seem to outrun the shadows of his wartime experiences. The quiet heroism that defined his life remained unrecognized and unappreciated. The quietness was the same quietness that had defined him as he pursued his academic education, his career in baseball, and his work in espionage. He returned to his teaching position, but the classroom felt like a foreign land. The academic pursuits that once stimulated him now felt insufficient. The intellectual explorations of his studies seemed shallow in contrast to the profound moral and ethical challenges he had faced. His students were too young to comprehend. His experiences and his stories seemed too large and far too overwhelming to share. He found solace in books, in the written word, and in the solitude of his library. He spent countless hours poring over journals and documents, trying to make sense of the events that had unfolded and the decisions he had made. He sought to understand and to interpret the war and its repercussions. The weight of the task was impossible, and he found no resolution. The years passed. The war receded into the background, but its impact remained etched onto his soul. He remained an enigma, a quiet observer of life, his heroism concealed beneath a veneer of normalcy. He lived a life filled with quiet achievements and quiet introspection. He was an extraordinary man who chose the path of anonymity. His legacy remains a testament to a life lived in the shadows, a testament to a man whose actions shaped history, yet whose name remains largely unknown. Moe Berg's story is one of untold heroism. It's a testament to the quiet courage of a man who served his country without fanfare, and a man who walked the tightrope between loyalty and conscience. His story is a powerful reminder of the enduring impact of a seemingly ordinary life on the extraordinary events of history. Asterisk, the offer started subtly, almost like whispers on the wind. A veterans organization suggested a speaking tour, promising hefty fees and the opportunity to share his experiences. A publisher approached him with a lucrative contract for a memoir, guaranteeing a substantial advance and widespread recognition. Even Hollywood came calling, envisioning a sweeping epic based on his extraordinary life. But Moe Berg, a man who had infiltrated enemy lines and stared down Nazi scientists, politely but firmly declined them all. His rejection wasn't born of arrogance or a disdain for recognition. Instead, it stemmed from a deep-seated understanding of the nature of secrecy and the profound weight of the classified information he carried within him. The world of espionage, the one he'd inhabited for so long, operated in shadows, its triumphs measured not in accolades, but in averted disasters. Public acclaim would have been a betrayal of the very principles he held dear: discretion, loyalty, and the preservation of national security. To speak openly would risk revealing details that could compromise future operations, jeopardize the safety of fellow agents, and ultimately undermine the very efforts he'd worked so hard to protect. The silence was not just a choice. It was a responsibility. His refusal wasn't solely driven by official secrecy. There was a deeper, more personal reason behind his deliberate retreat from the limelight. The war had irrevocably altered him, leaving scars not visible to the naked eye. He carried the weight of unspoken decisions, the burden of moral dilemmas that haunted him in the quiet hours of the night. The potential of killing Werner Heisenberg, a decision he'd wrestled with for months, was a weight that accompanied him in his waking hours and continued to play in the background as he slept. The stark reality of human cruelty he'd witnessed, the profound sense of loss and destruction, left an imprint on his soul that words couldn't adequately convey. The public spectacle, the clamor of fame, felt profoundly inappropriate, a jarring dissonance with the quiet contemplation he so desperately craved. He understood the allure of fame and fortune. He'd seen it firsthand in the world of baseball, a world he'd once inhabited, a world of public adoration and financial rewards. But that world, too, was in sharp contrast to the quiet observation of his clandestine career. He'd experienced fleeting moments of public recognition on the baseball field. The appreciation from his fans and teammates was nothing compared to the weight and significance of his work for the RC. He knew that his wartime service was far more than a mere story. It was a tapestry of complex ethical dilemmas, strategic nuances, and the heavy burden of responsibility, all held tightly in a deep-seated commitment to the nation's well-being. The reality of his service was a far cry from the glamour often associated with espionage. The potential riches were tempting, no doubt. He was a man of modest means, his savings depleted by years of travel and clandestine operations. But the price of public recognition, he felt, was too high. The potential cost to national security far outweighing any personal gain. He preferred the quiet dignity of anonymity, the peace that came from knowing that his contributions remained within the confines of the classified world, away from the prying eyes of the public. He understood that his actions held significant weight, a value that far surpassed material wealth. His post-war life was a reflection of this choice. He returned to the quiet rhythm of his academic pursuits, finding solace in the solitary world of books and languages. He continued his teaching career, though the classroom was far less stimulating than the intellectual challenges he'd faced during the war. He was a man adrift, his unique experiences far surpassing the ability to be shared. He shared only what could be shared without compromising his values or his duty to national security. The depth and richness of his experiences remained concealed beneath the surface, shared only in whispers to trusted friends or acquaintances. He never sought to impress, never displayed a need to recount his courageous acts or to highlight his intellectual gifts. His life was not a stage, nor was it a narrative tailored for an audience. It was simply a life lived with integrity, a life dedicated to the preservation of peace and security. His quiet dignity was a testament to the extraordinary reserve of his personality, a demonstration of his ability to keep secrets that far surpassed the ability of most. His refusal to leverage his wartime experiences for personal gain was a testament to his character. He wasn't a publicity seeker, nor was he driven by ambition in the traditional sense. He was a man who found fulfillment not in accolades, but in the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. A man whose commitment to national security surpassed personal gain. His actions were a reflection of his profound belief in the importance of discretion and the sanctity of secrets. The years unfolded, each one a gentle reminder of his profound contributions to the nation and the world. His reticence became a hallmark of his existence, a quiet tribute to the world of espionage he had once inhabited. He continued to live a modest life, his days filled with the quiet rhythms of scholarly pursuits and a commitment to remaining true to his values. His selflessness and dedication to the nation's safety remained unspoken. A man who had walked among the giants of science and espionage chose to remain among the shadows, his profound impact hidden from the light. His quiet life became his greatest testament. He wasn't striving for a legacy carved in stone or etched in brass. His legacy resided in the countless lives saved, the averted catastrophes, the quiet vigilance of a man who served his nation with unwavering loyalty and exceptional ability. He'd chosen anonymity, not as a retreat, but as a continuation of the service he dedicated his life to. His rejection of fame and fortune was the ultimate expression of his profound selflessness. His commitment to secrecy was not simply an act of discretion. It was a profound embodiment of his dedication to duty. His story remained largely untold, known only to a select few. But in the quiet corners of history, his name whispered among those who understood the nuances of intelligence operations. Reminder of a man who lived a life of quiet heroism, a man who preferred the quiet dignity of anonymity to the clamor of fame. It was a testament to his unwavering commitment to duty and his profound understanding of the price of secrecy. Moe Berg, the unlikely hero who bridged the worlds of baseball and espionage, chose a life lived in the shadows, his name etched not in the annals of fame, but in the hidden narratives of a nation's security. His life served as a profound testament to the value of quiet heroism and the power of unwavering discretion. His quiet strength, his unwavering loyalty, and his profound sense of duty continue to resonate even now, a reminder of the extraordinary lives lived in the shadows, lives that remain largely unknown, yet whose contributions to the world are immeasurable. The legacy of Moe Berg is not one of public recognition, but one of quiet, steadfast service. It's a legacy of silent vigilance, one of unwavering commitment, and a story of true, understated heroism. The years following the war found Moe Berg settling back into a life that, on the surface, appeared unremarkable. He resumed his teaching, his lectures on languages less dramatic than the covert operations he'd orchestrated across war-torn Europe. He wasn't seeking a spotlight. The hushed intensity of the clandestine world had imprinted itself too deeply. Instead, he found solace in the quiet rhythm of academia, the methodical study of Sanskrit verses a stark contrast to the frantic urgency of his wartime assignments. He immersed himself in the world of books, finding a quiet satisfaction in the meticulous pursuit of knowledge, a pursuit that mirrored the meticulous planning that characterized his espionage career. His apartment, a modest space overlooking the city, became his sanctuary, a space where he could shed the burdens of his past and focus on the calm present. The sounds of city life were a dull hum compared to the echoing silence he'd felt in the aftermath of deadly missions. His post-war life, however, was far from a retreat into obscurity. While he shunned the public accolades that were rightfully his, he remained intensely engaged in public service, albeit in less conspicuous ways. He utilized his linguistic skills to translate sensitive documents for government agencies. His expertise in foreign languages proving invaluable in a world still grappling with the complexities of international relations. This quiet, behind-the-scenes work was a continuation of his wartime service, a silent pledge to his country that extended beyond the battlefield. His contributions remained unheralded, a quiet testament to his selfless dedication. He continued to operate outside of the limelight, his actions a quiet, powerful echo of the work that had earned him a place in the history books. He became a trusted advisor to several government bodies, his insights shaped by his unique perspective, a blend of academic brilliance and real-world experience honed in the crucible of war. The hushed conversations, the confidential briefings, the careful weighing of words. These became the new battlegrounds of his life, the quiet arenas where he continued to serve his country. He found fulfillment not in the applause of the crowd, but in the quiet satisfaction of knowing his expertise was being used to shape critical policy decisions, contributing in his way to the fragile peace following the global devastation. He was a behind-the-scenes architect of stability, a key player in the silent diplomacy that helped shape the post-war world. His quiet contributions were a reflection of his deeply held ethical values. His decision not to assassinate Heisenberg had stemmed from a moral compass as sharp as his intellect, a recognition of the complex ethical dilemmas inherent in wartime decisions. This commitment to ethical conduct continued to underpin his post-war activities. He rejected opportunities that compromised his principles, remaining steadfast in his commitment to truth and integrity, even when faced with considerable temptation. He understood the power of his knowledge, and he refused to utilize it in a manner that could betray the trust placed in him, either during or after the war. The weight of his actions during the conflict and the responsibility that he carried was never far from his mind. His relationships, too, reflected this quiet heroism. He cultivated friendships with people from diverse backgrounds, his interest in human nature extending beyond the confines of his work. He listened more than he spoke, his conversations marked by a quiet intensity that betrayed the depth of his intellect and the breadth of his experiences. His capacity for empathy, forged in the fires of war, allowed him to connect with people on a profound level, creating bonds that transcended superficial interactions. He built connections built on trust, understanding, and the shared experience of humanity. His life after the war was a tapestry woven with threads of quiet service, academic pursuits, and profound reflection. He remained dedicated to the ideals of scholarship, tirelessly expanding his knowledge of languages and cultures. The libraries became his second home, the quiet rustling of pages, a comforting counterpoint to the echoes of gunfire he still carried. Within, this unwavering devotion to learning was not merely an intellectual pursuit. It was a way of processing the turmoil he had witnessed, a means of finding peace in a world forever altered by war. His dedication to self-improvement and learning was, in its own way, a form of quiet heroism, a testament to his resilience and his commitment to continuous growth, personally and professionally. He never sought recognition, never craved the limelight. His heroism was not of the flamboyant variety, the kind that fills newspaper headlines and inspires grand narratives. It was a quieter, more profound heroism, the kind that operates in the shadows, unseen yet deeply impactful. It was a heroism born of dedication, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to the greater good. His life was a testament to the power of quiet strength, the significance of actions undertaken without expectation of reward or praise, and the lasting legacy of a life lived with purpose and quiet dignity. His contributions were etched not in stone monuments, but in the very fabric of a nation's history, a silent tribute to a man who chose a life of quiet service above the clamor of fame. His actions, even in the obscurity they were performed, played a critical role in shaping the post-war world. This quiet leadership, marked by humility and dedication, is perhaps his greatest legacy, a profound testament to his character and his lasting impact. Moe Berg's life was a paradox, a blend of extraordinary feats and quiet humility. He navigated the treacherous world of espionage with unmatched skill and intelligence. Yet he chose to spend his post-war years in relative anonymity, his contributions largely unacknowledged by the wider public. He remained a man of quiet dignity, his inner life rich with experiences that would have captivated audiences. But he chose to preserve the confidentiality surrounding his wartime exploits, demonstrating a respect for secrecy that few could match. His life is a profound reminder that heroism doesn't always necessitate public recognition. It can exist in the quiet acts of service, the unassuming contributions made in the shadows, the unwavering loyalty offered without seeking reward or applause. Moe Berg's legacy is one of such silent contributions, a profound tribute to a life lived with purpose and exceptional integrity. His story, though largely untold, continues to inspire awe and admiration, a potent testament to the power of quiet heroism and the enduring impact of a life dedicated to service and discretion. His quiet strength resonated across decades, a beacon reminding us that some of the most significant contributions are those performed away from the public eye, a testament to the profound power of selfless action. The world would be a different place without his unseen contributions, a testament to his unseen heroism. The true measure of Moe Berg's impact, however, transcends the immediate aftermath of the war. His contribution to the Allied victory, though shrouded in secrecy, was substantial. His linguistic prowess, enabling him to infiltrate enemy circles and gather vital intelligence, was a strategic advantage often underestimated. His reports, meticulously compiled and delivered with unwavering discretion, provided invaluable insights into German and Italian military strategies, potentially altering the course of battles and saving countless lives. The information he gathered, often gleaned through seemingly innocuous conversations and observations, provided crucial context for strategic decision-making at the highest levels of Allied command. His role wasn't just that of a spy. He was a strategic analyst, a human intelligence asset of unparalleled value. His calm demeanor, his ability to blend into different social circles, and his sharp observation skills allowed him to extract information that others might have missed, turning seemingly insignificant details into critical pieces of the larger intelligence puzzle. The Heisenberg incident, though ultimately resulting in no action, stands as a testament to Berg's moral compass. The weight of the decision, the possibility of altering the course of history, weighed heavily on him. He demonstrated a level of self-control and moral judgment seldom seen in wartime situations. His assessment of the situation, his considered judgment not to act, revealed a man guided by principles rather than mere orders. This ethical dilemma, played out in the shadows, revealed a different kind of heroism, one of moral courage and intellectual integrity. It was a heroism of restraint, a decision not to kill that underscored the gravity of the mission and the complexities of wartime morality. This quiet act of restraint added another layer to his already complex, fascinating life. The debate continues to this day about the correct path, had he chosen otherwise, but it remains that his reasoned judgment speaks to a larger principle of measured responsibility. His story reminds us that heroism isn't always defined by acts of aggression, but also by acts of thoughtful restraint. The contrast between Berg's public persona and his secret life is stark yet illuminating. The quiet, unassuming baseball player, the unassuming academic, was also a master spy, operating in the shadows with exceptional skill and courage. This duality, a carefully constructed facade protecting a clandestine reality, is a fascinating aspect of his story. The disconnect between his outward appearance and his inner life speaks to the inherent duality of human nature, the ability of individuals to inhabit multiple identities, to skillfully navigate between the public and private spheres. His ability to blend in, to remain unnoticed even in high-stakes situations, underscores his skill as a spy. The legacy of Moe Berg has evolved over time. Initially known primarily within the intelligence community, his story gradually emerged into the public consciousness, revealing the depth and breadth of his contributions. The recognition of his contributions has, however, been gradual, reflective of the secrecy that surrounded his wartime activities. Initially, his work remained classified, preventing a wider understanding of his role. But as time progressed and declassification efforts revealed more information, his contributions were slowly but surely recognized. His legacy is not solely tied to his wartime achievements. His post-war life, characterized by quiet service and academic pursuits, showcases a different facet of his character. The quiet dignity with which he carried himself, even after his wartime service, resonates with a sense of humility rarely associated with figures of such consequence. This unassuming nature was characteristic of the life he led, emphasizing the values of discretion and humility. In recent decades, Berg's story has gained traction among historians and biographers, highlighting his unique skills and the significance of his actions. The combination of his linguistic gifts, meticulous planning, and sharp intellect made him an invaluable asset during the war. The unveiling of new information has allowed for a richer understanding of his role, adding nuance and depth to his already compelling narrative. The meticulous documentation of his missions, his careful observations, and his ability to extract vital intelligence from seemingly innocuous situations have solidified his place in history as a highly effective spy. Berg's life serves as a potent reminder that heroism can take many forms. It isn't always about flamboyant acts of bravery, but often about quiet dedication, unwavering loyalty, and selfless service. His legacy is a testament to the power of intelligence, linguistic skill, and careful observation. It's a story of a man who navigated the complexities of war with an unwavering commitment to his country, all while remaining largely unknown to the public. His quiet heroism is all the more powerful, the impact of his actions resonating deeply, even in the absence of widespread recognition. The significance of his contributions is best understood by examining the broader context of World War II intelligence operations. Berg's work, alongside that of countless other unsung heroes, played a pivotal role in shaping the outcome of the conflict. His contributions, often invisible to the public eye, were nonetheless vital in informing strategic decisions, gathering critical intelligence, and undermining enemy operations. His linguistic abilities were extraordinary. Mastering languages such as Sanskrit and Japanese, in addition to several European languages, provided him with unique access to information and enabled him to blend seamlessly into diverse cultural contexts. His language skills were not merely a tool. They were an embodiment of his intellectual curiosity and his insatiable thirst for knowledge. These skills opened doors, built trust, and allowed him to gather intelligence that would have remained inaccessible to those lacking his linguistic proficiency. But beyond his specific accomplishments, Berg's legacy also encompasses his character. His humility, his refusal to seek fame or recognition, his unwavering commitment to his principles. These qualities are as much a part of his enduring legacy as his wartime exploits. He chose to live a life of quiet service, eschewing the limelight and focusing instead on the quiet satisfaction of knowing that his contributions had made a difference. Moe Berg's life was a tapestry woven with diverse threads: baseball, academia, espionage, and quiet service. He bridged disparate worlds, demonstrating the extraordinary capacity for human adaptability and achievement. His story is an inspiring narrative of a life lived with intelligence, integrity, and quiet strength. It is a testament to the fact that heroism can manifest in unexpected forms, often hidden from public view, and that its impact can be profound and enduring, even without widespread recognition. The legacy of Moe Berg is a reminder that the most significant contributions are not always the loudest or the most visible, but those rooted in quiet dedication, unwavering principles, and a profound commitment to service. His life, in its quiet complexity, continues to inspire awe and admiration, serving as a model of quiet heroism for generations to come. He is a reminder that the most significant legacies are not always the most public, but the ones that resonate deeply and quietly through history. He is a reminder that even a life of quiet service can leave an indelible mark upon the world. The years following World War II saw Moe Berg retreat further into the shadows, his wartime exploits remaining largely unknown to the public. He resumed a life of quiet scholarship, embracing the anonymity he had cultivated so carefully during his years as a spy. His post-war life, while lacking the drama of his clandestine missions, was nonetheless rich in its own quiet way. He pursued his passion for languages, further enriching his already extensive linguistic repertoire. He worked as a translator, a testament to his intellectual curiosity and unwavering dedication to learning. His experience in the Aziao, however, cast a long shadow over his later years. While he spoke little of his wartime experiences, their influence was subtly but undeniably present in his demeanor, a quiet gravity that hinted at the weight of the secrets he carried. The psychological toll of his missions, the constant vigilance and the moral dilemmas he faced, were burdens he carried silently. He lived a life marked by careful observation, a habit honed by years of espionage, a life in which he remained always alert, even as his public existence seemed entirely peaceful and unobtrusive. The rediscovery of Moe Berg's story began gradually, a slow unraveling of a life lived in the shadows. It wasn't a sudden revelation, but a gradual accumulation of information, a piecing together of fragmented details, much like a detective novel unfolding over decades. Initial accounts appeared in obscure journals and specialized publications, attracting the attention of historians and researchers interested in the history of intelligence operations during World War II. The declassification of OSS documents, a slow and often painstaking process, gradually shed light on Berg's contributions, revealing the extent of his involvement in crucial missions. These documents, once shrouded in secrecy, offered tantalizing glimpses into Berg's extraordinary career, confirming the whispers and rumors that had circulated within intelligence circles for years. As more information became available, Berg's story began to capture the imagination of a wider audience. The contrast between his seemingly unremarkable life as a baseball player and his dramatic secret life as a spy was inherently captivating. His linguistic prowess, his calm demeanor under pressure, and his capacity for meticulous observation all contributed to the narrative's intrigue. He wasn't just a spy. He was a unique blend of intellectual brilliance, athletic skill, and unwavering dedication to his country. The publication of biographies, initially in specialized academic circles, eventually broadened to a wider readership, attracting those who were fascinated by this unique figure who had managed to inhabit two entirely different worlds, successfully navigating between them without compromising either. The growing interest in Berg's life reflects a broader shift in historical narratives. There is an increased fascination with the lives of those who worked behind the scenes during wartime, the unsung heroes whose contributions often remain unrecognized. Berg's story fits squarely within this trend. His contributions, however subtle, were undeniably significant. He wasn't a flamboyant war hero. He was a quiet and diligent worker who contributed in ways that were vital to the war effort, though largely unseen by the public eye. His impact was measured in the quiet success of his missions, in the information he gathered, in the crucial insights he provided to Allied commanders, His legacy extends beyond the realm of espionage. His story also resonated with the contemporary. Desire for narratives that explore themes of identity, duty, and quiet heroism. The exploration of Berg's multiple identities, baseball player, scholar, spy, reflects the complexity of selfhood. His dedication to his country highlights the enduring importance of duty and loyalty. His ability to accomplish extraordinary feats without seeking recognition underscores the enduring power of quiet heroism, an achievement often unheralded but profoundly impactful. In a world obsessed with self-promotion and immediate gratification, Berg's life stands as a testament to the value of quiet service and unwavering commitment. The enduring fascination with Moe. Berg's life also reflects a contemporary interest in the psychological aspects of espionage. His ability to remain calm under pressure, his capacity to blend into diverse social circles, and his unwavering attention to detail all speak to the mental and emotional demands of this profession. The moral dilemmas he faced, particularly in the Heisenberg incident, continue to spark debate and discussion, highlighting the complexities of wartime ethics and the difficult choices individuals are sometimes forced to make in the pursuit of a greater good. The complexities of his decision in Germany, the balance between killing one man to potentially save millions, continue to draw analysis and commentary, showcasing the gray areas of wartime morality. Furthermore, Berg's story also resonates with the ongoing debates surrounding the ethical considerations of intelligence gathering. His actions, although seemingly justified within the context of World War II, raise questions about the morality of surveillance, deception, and the potential for abuse of power. These discussions, however, are not meant to diminish Berg's achievements, but rather to engage in a critical examination of the ethical considerations surrounding espionage and the complex choices made by those who operate in the shadows. The modern rediscovery of Moe Berg's life highlights the enduring power of human agency and the capacity for individuals to make a significant impact, even in the face of uncertainty and adversity. His story is a testament to the fact that heroism can take many forms, and that the most significant contributions are not always those that garner public attention. His life serves as a compelling example of the lasting impact of quiet dedication, unwavering integrity, and a profound commitment to a greater good. His story continues to inspire and intrigue, demonstrating the power of an ordinary man who rose to meet extraordinary circumstances. It's a reminder that the most remarkable stories are not always the most dramatic or visible, but rather those that reflect a deep understanding of duty, loyalty, and the profound sense of service. A quietly heroic legacy that continues to resonate deeply. Moe Berg's story stands as a beacon, highlighting the power of quiet dedication, the importance of unwavering integrity, and the possibility of heroism existing beyond the realm of public acclaim. His life, in its multifaceted complexity, remains a fascinating case study in human resilience, moral judgment, and the lasting impact of quiet heroism. The quiet dignity of his life and the profound nature of his contributions remind us that true heroism often lies in the shadows, shaping the course of history while leaving only a subtle mark on the world. His story, finally revealed in its entirety, offers a powerful testament to the enduring strength and silent resilience of the human spirit. The legacy of Moe Berg is not merely a historical footnote. It is a timeless tale of quiet heroism and profound impact. The enduring appeal of Moe Berg, the multilingual baseball player turned spy, transcends the simple narrative of a man leading a double life. His story taps into a deep-seated fascination with the clandestine world of espionage, a fascination that has captivated audiences for generations. This fascination isn't merely about the thrill of adventure or the exotic locales. It's rooted in a complex interplay of psychological and sociological factors that resonate with our deepest desires and anxieties. One key element of Berg's enduring appeal lies in the inherent tension between the ordinary and the extraordinary. He wasn't a flamboyant James Bond character, but rather a seemingly unassuming individual who led a remarkably unconventional life. This contrast between his quiet, almost anonymous existence as a baseball player and his dangerous, secretive work as a spy creates a compelling narrative arc. It speaks to the human capacity for hidden depths, the potential for remarkable achievements. Within the seemingly ordinary, we are drawn to Berg's story because it speaks to the possibility of untapped potential within ourselves. The idea that we all harbor hidden capabilities that could be unleashed under the right circumstances. Further, fueling this intrigue is the inherent mystery surrounding the world of espionage. The secrecy, the deception, the constant risk, all these elements contribute to the allure. Berg's activities, veiled in the cloak of wartime secrecy, naturally fuel speculation and curiosity. The very act of uncovering his story, piecing together the fragments of his past, becomes a compelling narrative in itself. This process of unveiling echoes the detective stories that have fascinated audiences for decades, with the reader engaging in the same kind of detective work, albeit through the lens of historical biography, to discover the truth about Berg's life and missions. The psychological complexities of espionage are also a significant factor in Berg's enduring appeal. The moral ambiguities, the high-stakes decision-making, the constant pressure, all these elements resonate with our innate fascination with the human psyche under duress. Berg's deliberations regarding the Heisenberg mission epitomize these internal conflicts, offering a compelling case study in the ethical dilemmas faced by those operating in the shadows. His story forces us to confront our own internal conflicts, question our own moral compasses, and wrestle with the difficult choices individuals are sometimes forced to make, even in extreme circumstances. Moreover, Berg's story speaks to the universal appeal of the underdog narrative. He wasn't a natural athlete. His baseball career, while respectable, wasn't marked by exceptional statistics. Yet he achieved something extraordinary, making significant contributions to the war. Effort through his unique skills and unwavering dedication. His story resonates with the underdog narrative because it confirms that talent can manifest in many forms and that success isn't always tied to traditional measures of achievement. It's about achieving greatness not by strength and prowess, but through intelligence, ingenuity, and dedication. The cultural context also plays a significant role in understanding Berg's continued relevance. His story emerged at a time when there's a growing interest in untold stories of World War II, a desire to uncover the often overlooked contributions of individuals who worked behind the scenes. His narrative fulfills this need, shedding light on a crucial yet often forgotten aspect of the war effort. The subsequent declassification of documents further bolstered this interest, providing researchers and the public with access to previously confidential information, adding a layer of authenticity and intrigue to Berg's story. Beyond the historical context, Berg's legacy also resonates with contemporary themes of identity and the complexities of selfhood. His ability to seamlessly navigate between seemingly disparate worlds, the athletic field, the academic world, and the clandestine world of espionage, speaks to the multifaceted nature of the human identity. His experience speaks to our understanding of the inherent contradictions within ourselves, highlighting the multiple roles we inhabit and the ways we construct our sense of self. The very notion of a hidden identity, a secret life lived in parallel with a public persona, is inherently captivating, inviting us to speculate on the unknown aspects of our own lives and those of others. Furthermore, Berg's story connects to a broader societal fascination with the spy archetype. This archetype embodies a range of desirable traits: intelligence, resourcefulness, courage, and a commitment to a cause beyond oneself. However, the spy also embodies a certain moral ambiguity, operating in the gray areas of ethics and morality, making them both alluring and potentially unsettling. Berg's character is particularly compelling because it presents a nuanced portrayal of this archetype, highlighting both his strengths and his internal conflicts. He isn't simply a hero. He is a complex and morally ambiguous figure, a portrayal that resonates with the complexities of the real world. The enduring appeal of Moe Berg, therefore, is multifaceted. It's a blend of historical significance, psychological intrigue, cultural relevance, and the enduring fascination with the world of espionage. His story resonates with our fascination with the unknown, with the potential for hidden greatness, and with the complexities of human nature under duress. It's a story that continues to captivate and inspire, not just because of the extraordinary nature of his life, but because it speaks to the enduring human capacity for quiet heroism, hidden strengths, and the ever-present tension between the ordinary and the extraordinary. His story serves as a reminder that the most compelling narratives are often found not in the realm of the overtly dramatic, but in the subtle nuances of a life lived with quiet dedication, intelligence, and an unwavering commitment to a higher purpose. Moe Berg's legacy remains a testament to this enduring truth, a story that continues to resonate with audiences across generations, a compelling mix of history, psychology, and the timeless fascination with the human spirit's capacity for both extraordinary achievement and profound moral contemplation. His story remains a beacon, illuminating the enduring power of quiet heroism and its place within the human experience. The quiet strength of his character, the subtle impact of his actions, and the enduring mystery surrounding his life ensure that Moe Berg's legacy will continue to inspire, intrigue, and captivate for many years to come. His is a story worthy of being retold and reinterpreted, ensuring his place not merely as a historical figure, but as a compelling and enduring archetype of quiet heroism and intellectual prowess. Asterisk, the seemingly disparate worlds of professional baseball and clandestine espionage, at first glance, appear to have little in common. One is a public spectacle of athletic prowess and competitive spirit. The other, a shadowy realm of secrecy, deception, and high-stakes risk. Yet, in the extraordinary life of Moe Berg, these two worlds converged, revealing a surprising synergy that enriched his unique narrative and deepened our understanding of his capabilities. Berg's success in both arenas wasn't merely a matter of chance. Rather, it stemmed from a shared set of skills and characteristics that transcended the boundaries of each field. Consider the strategic thinking inherent in both baseball and espionage. On the baseball diamond, Berg, though not a star player in terms of raw talent, excelled through his astute game sense and strategic thinking. He wasn't known for prodigious home runs or blazing speed. His contribution lay in his intelligence, his ability to anticipate the opponent's moves, and his understanding of the game's intricacies. This strategic mindset translated directly into his espionage work. He meticulously planned his missions, assessing risks, anticipating potential obstacles, and adapting to ever-changing circumstances. In both contexts, his success depended on careful observation, precise execution, and an ability to think several steps ahead. The diamond became a training ground, honing his skills in anticipating actions and making swift, decisive judgments. Skills invaluable on dangerous espionage missions. The art of observation, crucial for both a baseball player and a spy, constituted another bridge between these seemingly divergent fields. In baseball, a keen eye for detail is essential. A player's ability to read the pitcher's signals, anticipate the trajectory of a ball, engage the opposing team's strategies profoundly impacts the game's outcome. Berg possessed an exceptionally sharp eye, a talent that proved even more critical in his espionage operations. He was trained to meticulously observe his surroundings, noting details that others missed, subtle shifts in behavior, unusual patterns of activity, and seemingly insignificant physical clues. The ability to discern such details wasn't merely a matter of visual acuity. It required patience, focus, and a disciplined approach. These skills, honed on the baseball field, served him well as he infiltrated enemy territory, gathering intelligence and evaluating risks. He developed a knack for reading people, a skill equally vital for both professions. In baseball, this translated to understanding an opponent's tendencies and weaknesses. As a spy, this translated to identifying potential collaborators, assessing trustworthiness, and detecting deception. Beyond strategy and observation, the intersection of sports and espionage reveals another shared element: mental fortitude. Both fields demand resilience, nerves of steel, and the ability to function under extreme pressure. In baseball, players face the constant pressure of performance, the scrutiny of crowds, and the weight of expectations. A single moment of weakness, a lapse in concentration, can dramatically affect the outcome of a game. This high-pressure environment fostered in Berg a mental toughness and composure invaluable in his espionage career. The dangerous missions he undertook required not only physical bravery, but also unwavering mental resilience. He had to remain calm and collected in the face of danger, maintaining a clear head in the midst of potentially lethal situations. His time in baseball provided an essential proving ground for these qualities. He was adept at controlling his emotions, maintaining a composed demeanor in high-stakes scenarios, skills directly transferable to the stressful clandestine operations. Comparison extends beyond these specific skills. The clandestine nature of many of Berg's espionage missions mirrors the strategic deception and calculated risks undertaken in baseball. A baseball team's strategy often involves misleading the opponent, feigning intentions, and creating unexpected plays. This element of calculated misdirection mirrored Berg's work in intelligence, where the ability to operate undercover, maintain secrecy, and employ deceptive tactics was essential to mission success. His understanding of risk management gleaned from experience on the baseball field, where one wrong move could cost a game, directly translated into carefully calculated decisions in the field of espionage. Each mission was akin to a strategically planned and meticulously executed baseball game, with careful planning, detailed intelligence gathering, and a keen understanding of the potential risks and rewards. Furthermore, the role of teamwork, critical to both baseball and espionage, underscores another interesting parallel. Baseball is a team sport, demanding collaboration, coordination, and trust between players. The success of the entire team hinges upon each player executing their role efficiently and relying on their teammates. This shared reliance and trust was mirrored in Berg's espionage work, where he collaborated with others in the OSS, relying on their expertise and trusting in their ability to fulfill their duties. The seamless collaboration was essential for success in both roles. The unexpected synergy between sports and espionage in Moe Berg's life enhances the appeal of his story. It adds layers of depth to his character, highlighting not only his exceptional multilingualism and intellect, but also the strategic thinking, observational skills, and mental fortitude he honed through his years in baseball. These qualities were not merely coincidental. They were interconnected, mutually reinforcing, and essential to his remarkable success in both the seemingly disparate worlds he inhabited. His unique narrative thus transcends a simple tale of a double life. Instead, it offers a compelling case study of how seemingly diverse skills and experiences can converge to forge an extraordinary legacy. The enduring appeal of Berg's story lies in its demonstration of human potential, that skills honed in one realm can unexpectedly, powerfully, and effectively translate to others, leading to remarkable achievements. His life stands as a testament to the transferable nature of skills the importance of strategic thinking, and the multifaceted nature of human capabilities. His story is a testament not only to his bravery and intellect, but also to the unexpected synergies that can exist between seemingly disparate facets of life, particularly when viewed through the lens of human ingenuity and resilience. His experience offers a valuable lesson on the transferable skills and unexpected intersections that shape an extraordinary life. The narrative's richness lies in its ability to showcase the subtle yet powerful connections between seemingly unrelated domains. The strategic thinking, observation skills, and mental fortitude, all honed within the context of competitive baseball, became the very cornerstones of his success in the often dangerous world of espionage. This is not simply a tale of coincidence. It's a testament to the adaptability and transferability of skills, demonstrating how experiences from one sphere of life can provide a surprisingly effective foundation for success in another. The combination of athleticism, academic prowess, and espionage skills created a unique and compelling narrative. It's not just the double life that fascinates. It's the underlying interconnectedness of his experiences, a testament to skills learned and applied in unexpectedly diverse circumstances. Berg's story becomes a narrative of self-discovery, a journey where seemingly unrelated skills merge into a uniquely powerful combination. The athletic field provided a training ground, shaping the characteristics that ultimately made him a valuable asset in the world of espionage. The synergy between the two worlds wasn't a coincidence, but rather a testament to the adaptability and versatility of human potential. Asterisk, the narrative of Moe Berg's wartime exploits, however compelling, is not without its ethical ambiguities. His actions, viewed through the lens of wartime necessity, might appear heroic and even essential to the Allied war effort. Yet a closer examination reveals a complex tapestry of moral compromises and difficult choices, forcing us to grapple with the inherent gray areas that often shroud wartime decisions. The very nature of espionage, with its inherent secrecy and deception, necessitates a certain level of moral flexibility, pushing individuals to operate in a moral twilight zone where conventional ethical standards might not apply. Berg's mission to potentially assassinate Werner Heisenberg, arguably his most renowned assignment, encapsulates this moral ambiguity. Charged with eliminating a leading figure in the German nuclear program, Berg faced an agonizing dilemma. The potential ramifications of Heisenberg's success, the development of a German atomic bomb, were catastrophic. In the context of the war, the elimination of such a threat might have been viewed as a necessary evil, a justifiable act to prevent unimaginable human suffering. However, the act itself, the cold-blooded murder of a scientist, regardless of his affiliation, clashes fundamentally with humanitarian principles. Berg, a man of intellect and apparent moral sensitivity, had to weigh these conflicting ideals. His decision, ultimately, to refrain from assassination highlights the complexity of his moral compass. It suggests a reasoned assessment of the situation, perhaps a belief that Heisenberg's work was not as advanced as initially feared, or a recognition that the assassination itself might yield unintended consequences. Yet, this decision does not absolve Berg of grappling with the ethical implications of his assignment. He consciously chose not to take a life, a decision that reveals a character far more nuanced and morally complex than a simple hero archetype allows. It was a decision fraught with implications, requiring a delicate balancing of personal conscience, the greater good, and the immense weight of potential consequences, both positive and negative, resting on his shoulders. Furthermore, Berg's operations often involved deception, infiltration, and manipulation, tools of the trade in the clandestine world of intelligence gathering. These tactics, while essential to his success, necessitate a certain detachment from the moral strictures that govern everyday life. He had to build relationships, based on fabricated identities, weaving intricate webs of deception to gain trust and extract critical information. While the goal was noble, to undermine the enemy war effort, the methods employed inevitably raise ethical questions about the nature of truth, trust, and the permissible limits of clandestine operations. The moral dilemmas Berg faced were not unique to his individual experiences. Many operatives during World War II confronted similar situations, forcing them to navigate the treacherous terrain of wartime ethics. The very act of participating in war, with its inherent violence and destruction, invariably involves compromise, forcing individuals to reconcile personal values with the demands of national security. Berg's story provides a window into this challenging moral landscape, offering a nuanced perspective on the complexities of wartime decisions. The absence of clear-cut answers further underscores the ambiguity inherent in Berg's wartime actions. There's no simple judgment to be made, no easy categorization of his moral standing. His story highlights the difficult choices made by many during the war, actions sometimes necessary, often morally complex, always carrying immense consequences. His life stands as a reminder that wartime heroes often tread the blurred lines of ethical conduct. The moral ambiguity doesn't diminish his contributions. Instead, it adds a layer of complexity to his narrative, making it all the more captivating. The post-war silence surrounding Berg's wartime activities only intensifies this sense of ambiguity. His refusal to publicly acknowledge his contributions, his deliberate retreat from the spotlight, suggests a reluctance to confront the moral complexities of his actions. This deliberate obfuscation adds a further layer of complexity to the narrative, making it difficult to definitively assess his moral standing. His quiet existence, devoid of self-promotion, suggests a profound introspection, a wrestling with the moral dilemmas of his experiences. Historians and biographers must grapple with these inherent ambiguities when interpreting Berg's legacy. A simplistic portrayal of Berg as an unreserved hero risks oversimplifying the moral challenges he faced. It is crucial to acknowledge the ethical dimensions of his actions, to recognize the difficult choices he made, and to appreciate the complexities of operating in the shadowy realm of wartime intelligence. A complete understanding of Berg necessitates a careful and nuanced exploration of these moral ambiguities, allowing us to appreciate the full scope of his extraordinary life, not just his remarkable accomplishments. Moreover, the narrative invites readers to confront the broader ethical implications of wartime actions. The sacrifices made during times of conflict often necessitate compromises that would be considered unacceptable in times of peace. The acceptance of collateral damage, the use of deception, the necessity of secrecy, these are all integral aspects of wartime operations, yet they often stand in stark contrast to fundamental moral principles. Berg's experiences force us to confront these contradictions, to contemplate the nature of justice and morality in a world convulsed by conflict. The ambiguities surrounding Berg's actions are not merely historical artifacts. They resonate deeply with contemporary issues related to national security and intelligence gathering. The same moral dilemmas he faced, the balancing of national security interests with fundamental human rights, the justification of covert operations, the ethical use of deception, continue to be debated in the modern era. Berg's life thus offers a valuable case study for contemporary discussions on the ethical challenges inherent in national security operations. His story becomes a lens through which we can examine the complex interplay between morality and national interest in the modern context. It's a potent reminder that even in pursuit of laudable goals, the path may be morally ambiguous. It's important to avoid simplistic judgments. The complexities surrounding Berg's life defy easy categorization. To label him unequivocally as a hero or a villain is to ignore the nuances of his experiences and the morally challenging context in which he operated. His story resists neat categorization, instead demanding a thorough examination of the gray, areas where heroism and moral ambiguity often intersect. His actions, considered in isolation, might seem reprehensible. Yet, viewing them within the historical context of World War II, with its immense stakes and existential threats, reveals a far more nuanced and challenging narrative. The enduring appeal of Berg's story lies not solely in his remarkable accomplishments, but also in the moral complexities that accompany them. His narrative prompts introspection, challenging our understanding of heroism, morality, and the difficult choices faced by those who operate in the shadows of conflict. His life becomes a fascinating and often unsettling case study in the intersection of exceptional talent, national duty, and the inherent uncertainties of moral judgment in wartime. His legacy is not just one of remarkable achievement, but also a profound examination of the complexities of moral choice under pressure. He compels us to consider the difficult questions surrounding wartime actions, questions that continue to resonate today. In essence, Moe Berg's story is a testament to the enduring power of moral ambiguity, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, ethical considerations persist, often as a silent and powerful force. His life continues to challenge us to confront the complexities of heroism and the lasting legacy of moral choice, even in the face of extraordinary circumstances.